recording now. Yeah, we're recording. Alright, this is Kenny Smith, Total Force Holding. Hope y'all having a good day today. Y'all notice I've slid over a little bit in my shop. I've got my heavy bag behind me because we're going to do a little playing with it. Okay, nothing too crazy. What we're going to talk about is a particular goodie of mine. It's not my design, I just happen to own these. Made here in North Carolina. Y'all all know I'm a North Carolina boy. I kind of like to support North Carolina businesses. These items, I should say, come from the nimble brain of Gene Higdon. Gene Higdon is one of those, if you don't know who he is and you have anything to do with the tactical world, you probably should. His previous company is absolutely legendary in the world of tactical nylon, and it's him that had a lot to do with that. So he got back to doing leather. Okay, fine, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody gets tired of doing something every once in a while. I don't know his reasons, and I don't really care. Alright, he's a good dude. Every time I've talked to him, he's been nothing but nice to me. It ain't none of my business. So, having said that, he's a very good friend of a very good friend of mine. And I kind of keep an eye on his work. And a couple years ago, I saw this nifty little goodie he called the Hot Tamale. Now the Hot Tamale V1. Now y'all saw this in some of my other videos. Okay, this is the Hot Tamale V1. This is my Hot Tamale V1. I paid good money for it. Okay, black in color, single snap, belt loop secures to the body. It is not a sap as much as it looks like one. It is definitely not. It's weighted with change. I can't even say it's really weighted with change. It just happens to hold change by design. Okay? But anytime you put something in a pouch, it does put weight to it. But because it's not weighted with shot or powdered metal or shot, this is legally not a sap, which is really cool because if you're in North Carolina, you cannot carry a sap concealed on or about your person. It's not protected by a concealed carry permit, but they work. And am I the only one standing here that's got hit by a sap? Probably. They fucking hurt, okay? They work. They work. If you get hit with a sap, the way you usually find out about it is when you wake up shortly thereafter with a splitting headache. Alright, at least that was my experience with them. Alright. They do have their uses, and one of which being they are an impact tool that is usable in really close quarters where normal batons and the like are not. And that's why I like them. But again, this is not a sap. The fact of the matter is, it is shaped similarly to one and has similar construction characteristics, thus a flexible end and an end that has some mass to it. In this case being the actual purse itself and the belt loop being the flexible end. So, what do you get? It's not a sap, but it's an improvised version. This is about like putting a padlock in a sock, only you got a little bit more control over it. And you also have the convenience of if you dip or smoke or anything like that, you have the option of carrying a couple extra bucks with you that's not in your wallet as paper money for you to see and spend. And then if some bum gets stupid when you won't give him any paper money out of your wallet, you can lay a couple dollars on him. Take that for what you will. So, I've been waiting on the chance to use that line, by the way. Lay a couple bucks on me, don't mind if I do. Y'all don't know it, well, those of y'all who know me know what I mean by that, but that's irrelevant. Anyway, maybe I was just being funny. I wasn't. I was serious. So, with this, the way these work, and I don't have a belt on right now, so I'm just going to use the drawstring in my geese pants. Fortunately, I can do that because I actually have grappling shorts on under here. So, the way these work is your belt loop end, your free running end, is just going to go underneath your belt and secure on the snap. And if you need it, you come down to it, pop the snap, draw it out, and do what you got to do. Simplicity in itself. Okay? That's about it for the V1. It's useful in really close quarters, as it should be. But if you need to reach out a little bit further or be a little bit more covert, there's another option. Now, this right here looks like sap. Okay? It's not a sap. Let me say that again. This is not a sap. But it looks like one. So if you get the one, let's just say, responder to your self-defense incident that says it's a sap and charges you accordingly, because it is weighted, it is flexible, especially if you've hit someone with it, you might have a bit of a problem. So you have the V2. Okay? I think this one hits harder, and that comes down to simple physics. It's more between the final set of knuckles and the weighted area of it. Again, zippered pouch, full of change. And I know some dumbass is going to want to, like I said, put BBs. Just don't do that. Now you've made a sap. All right? Then it becomes a sap at that point, and you're going to jail, if not prison. Okay? So you don't want to do that. All right? Now you've got coin purse. It looks more like a coin purse. Okay? It folds over this way. All right, just a little rectangle. Twin belt loops there that make a U-shaped grip when you unsnap them. 2 snaps instead of 1, but there's really no difference in speed. Now I don't have enough space on this drawstring to demonstrate this one, but I usually carry it right about here when I carry this one. And you can just squeeze it and they pop out and go to town. If you need to be more covert, this is the way I actually carried this one the other weekend. I was in a state with, let's just say, less than permissive laws regarding self-defense options. So I wore it backwards. I wore it with a flat side out underneath my sport coat. And if I would have needed it, it would have been a reverse. I would have reached under, popped the snaps with my fingers, dropped it down, let it rotate, and then had it there. And I practiced that quite a bit before I went down there to make sure I had it. But from the outside, it didn't look like anything, okay? Just looked like a little leather square. Oh, what is that? No problem. Just my spare change, all right? In states like that, you may very well run into issues with the V1 because it does look kind of like it could be maybe. Okay? When it's on your belt, you ain't got much to worry about. The problem comes out when you're, shit, I need to buy dip. Okay? And it can cause questions to be asked, and you really don't want that. So if you need to be covert, I'd say go with the V2. For general use in most places, I'd say go with the V1. And here's my why. The V1 is more useful as an improvised impact weapon. And I think a lot of that has to do with I've spent a lot of time learning how to use an actual sap. Again, this is not a sap, okay? But because it's shaped like one and behaves similarly, some but not all of the techniques work. This isn't a video on how to use an actual sap. Those are an illegal weapon, and there's only certain people I'll teach how to use that. And those are people that I know. So, and I would teach you with this because it's not a sap. It just happens to work similarly. What we're going to do is we're going to try 3 different strikes on my heavy bag here with the V1, with the V2, and I'll let you decide, judging by movement of my heavy bag and noise, if you want to go off that, which one you think hits harder. Those 3 strikes will be a backhanded strike, low as if coming into the rib area. An inward strike, again, low as if coming into the rib area. And a vertical strike, I don't have to tell you what that's simulating. Right? Maybe I'm in a collarbone, maybe I'm in a head. That's up to you to decide. All right? So, without further ado, backhand strike, Mean Gene Leather Hot Tamale V1. Forehand strike. I got to move a little bit so I don't end up clipping the upright off my weight bench. Downward strike. This is the way it will most likely be used reactively. There's your V1. Again, this is the one that I carry every day because I can use it in really close quarters where other options don't work very well, and you really don't even have many options as far as normal combatives to generate good power, and this becomes a force multiplier. V2. Backhand strike. Again, moving so I don't end up hitting my weight bench. Forehand strike. Vertical. think the V2 hits a lot harder. I think the V2 is a lot more covert. I think the V1 is more useful in general. So what's the solution? Buy both of them. These guys don't cost very much, okay? I think I've got like $15, $16 worth of change in both of them. Or probably a little bit less than this one because it's still kind of new. And that is something you're going to notice. These are leather. When you fill them up with change, at first they're going to not hold very much. And then the leather will stretch out a little bit and put a little bit more in there. Okay? It takes a while before you can get them to good capacity. Or full capacity. So these might be for you. Look up meangeneleather.com. I'm sure he'd be lucky to make you one. He'd be very happy to do so. Great guy. Good North Carolina business. Big supporter of the Second Amendment and tactical community. Again, great guy. Every time I've ever spoke to him, he's been nothing but just cool as the breeze. So, if you're looking for a new toy that's not legally a weapon, but just like anything else, because everything in the world's a weapon if you hold it right, that'd be a Paul Gomez quote if I'm not mistaken. These might be for you. V1. Kind of rounded, kind of looks like an old school sap. If you're an old school cop, doesn't want to carry a sap because you don't want to get locked up, but you want something you can use the way you did back in the day, V1 might be for you. If you want something a bit more covert, hits a little bit harder, but a little bit less useful, a little bit harder to use, get the V2, or you can do like me, and get both. They don't cost very much. I think they're like 30, 40 bucks a piece, somewhere in there. So, not a bad investment. And it gives you an intermediate force option. I can't stress this part enough. If you cannot fight with your fist, you are more likely to use a gun. If you do not need to use a gun, and you do, you are probably going to prison. I don't want to go to prison. I don't want you to go. Well, I don't give a shit if you go to prison. You're not my problem. I'm my problem. But I'm pretty sure someone in this world don't want you to go to prison. All right? It's like I don't want to go to prison. So having good training, good intermediate force options is never a bad idea. Well, I don't have 30 years to learn how to box. Okay, well, good. I'm only 31. I've only been boxing for 26, so you obviously don't need to do it for 30 years. Yeah, but you do all that other shit too. Okay, so can you. I mean, there's plenty of good martial arts gyms in your area. You just have to look, okay? And you might have to be willing to drive a little bit. But within an hour or so, unless you live in the middle of BFE, shouldn't be too much of an issue, okay? Having those options, and if you can't find good martial arts training, a can of pepper spray works wonders. All right, a can of pepper spray for when they're a little bit further away, something like this, so you hit them a little harder when they're up close. Those go a long way, okay? And it helps establish an escalation of force protocol if it's not quite deadly force yet, but we're getting there. So, one of those things to keep in mind. Not a bad option. I certainly suggest you all take a look at it. And again, y'all stay safe, y'all stay frosty, and if a fight comes your way, stay in it.